Morning. I'm just going to read a brief-ish statement. Today, MGN Limited, part of the Trinity Mirror Group, has settled my case by apologising for hacking my phone and is paying me a sum in damages which they have insisted I keep confidential, most of which will be distributed to good causes. As part of the agreed statement made in court this morning, the Mirror have accepted and apologised for the concealment of these illegal activities and have said that the victims should not have been denied the truth for so long. Were it not for the Mirror's threat to seek their costs if I continued with my case, I would have sought to scrutinise these activities further and get to the bottom of the extensive cover-up which I believe took place. Whilst I was able to pursue this case to this point, despite these risks, I fear that many other victims of press misconduct are too afraid to fight for their rights because of aggressive newspaper legal teams and our expensive legal system. It's my belief that hacking at the Mirror's papers took place for up to 15 years. Journalists at all three papers, the Daily Mirror, the Sunday Mirror and the People, under successive editors, hacked the phones of thousands of people, not just celebrities and public figures, but their families and people who just happened to be in the news. The way they behaved is a disgrace to the record of what was a fine newspaper publisher and an insult to the memory of Hugh Cudlip. Covering up the wrongdoing to stop the truth coming out is even worse. Their failure to act on warnings and reports of illegality from at least 2002 onwards has led to the criminal intrusion into the lives of thousands of people and, due to the costs of paying lawyers and damages, the jobs of scores of journalists. I brought this case to try and expose the cover-up, especially when I heard that Mirror executives said at the first part of the Leveson campaign. The judge in this litigation 2 years ago said, and I'm quoting, "Wrong, not just disingenuous statements were made to the Leveson inquiry by at least 2 deponents, and that the newspaper group was indeed putting up what was in effect a strong denial, from which it has had to resile." It's my view that editors and executives such as Sly Bailey, Piers Morgan, Paul Vickers, Tina Weaver and Richard Wallace have not yet been subjected to proper scrutiny, taking into account what has emerged since the first half of the inquiry. The second part of the Leveson inquiry must find out who hacked, who knew about it and who covered it up or turned a blind eye. The Leveson inquiry must be completed now, as the government has promised. Vindication, because it's very difficult to take on national newspapers because they wield a very huge baton that they're happy to use when it suits them. So it's difficult. But I mean, I mainly got involved because the people who don't have a public profile, it's very difficult for them to have a platform. So that's the principal reason that I got involved. Well, I'm involved with a pressure group called Hacked Off, and I'll be continuing to involve in them. And really, in the absence of an effective system for self-regulation of the press, or independent regulation of the press, in the absence of that, I think Hacked Off will be around to try and do its best to hold the press to account for any misdemeanours that take place. I think the fact that some people, well, certainly according to one judge, were economical with the truth at the Leveson inquiry should be a subject of great concern to the government, and makes it even more pressing to carry out the second part of the Leveson inquiry. Okay, thanks.